Why do you keep breaking your word? And what's it costing you to live without integrity? All right. What's up, everyone? This is yours truly, Jovie J, Sumner, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Daily Recharge. Today's topic, the cost of not keeping your word. So, why do men not keep their word? Oh man, this one is going to be deep. It's going to be juicy, and it's going to be great. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy yourselves because we're about to take a wild ride. Now, when we look at the cost of not keeping our word, we have to examine, why do we break our word, and what's it costing us to lose integrity? Okay. So integrity means you're not doing what you said, or you're not living in alignment with your core values or your character. So why do men not keep their word, and what's the cost for us to live out of integrity? Let me say this. I think men, we're taught that it's okay to lie first and foremost. I just think that's the culture we live in. We live in a society where the politicians are liars. We live in a society where the ads, commercials, they lie for capital greed. So many different reasons, men lie to women, women lie to men. But we really want to keep the focus on us as men, and why do we not keep our word? And again, I think that the biggest reason is we learn at a young age that if we keep our word, we will get in trouble. There's many different reasons, but one reason, if you tell the truth, you'll get in trouble. If you're a kid and you're in school, that begins to condition you that it's better to lie and not get in trouble and cover your ass than to be truthful and own up and take responsibility for your actions and get in trouble and suffer consequences. And I think those type of narratives are stories that we carry with us throughout our lives into adulthood until we break through and really start to become aware of the cost of lies and the cost of not keeping our word or living without integrity. I think a big part of it also is sometimes we give our word too quickly. I know I certainly have done this before in my life. Sometimes we give our word out before we really think through on the commitment that we're making. And I do adhere to the famous line from Scarface that all I have in this world is my word and my balls. Your word is everything. If we look in the scripture, in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and God was with the word. And I don't want to get biblical and all of that on you. I just want to say that your word is everything. There is an energetic tie that you put into the universe when you give your word, not only with others, but with yourself as well. So if we examine why we give our word so quickly, we have to understand that sometimes we can just be caught up in the moment. Sometimes we can get emotional and say things that we mean in that moment. And yet when we examine them and put them into perspective up under logic, they may not make sense. The deal is this, though. From my upbringing, you keep your word no matter what. Or this is something that I learned from T. Harv Eker. And Harv said this: if you are an enlightened warrior, you would rather die than to break your word. And here's why. Here's why. You say, Jovie, wow, that's pretty extreme, dude. But you got to look at the cost of not keeping your word. When you don't keep your word, you lose trust with yourself and you lose integrity with yourself. If you don't have integrity with yourself or for yourself, you lose your confidence and your ability to execute and to do the things you know you can do. And once that happens, it becomes a downward spiral, my friends, because now you got to regain confidence with yourself. You have to regain trust with yourself. You have to regain and rebuild trust with others, because after a while, other people will look at you as someone who's undependable, who is shaky, who is, not dependable, to be truthful. And you will look at yourself in the same way. So you have to really look at those costs. And is it worth it? And at the same time, that's weak character. That's not developing and building strong character. So you want to get into the habit of something that I learned. And again, I learned this and I credit this to T. Harv. You want to honor your commitments and give them sparingly. So you give your word sparingly, but your commitment to keep your word is high. You see what I'm saying? So now it becomes more intentional and more thoughtful. Now it has more honor in it and more value as well. Why? Because it's easy to talk. People say it all the time. Actions speak louder than words. Words are a dime a dozen. That's why we really trust more of what we see than what people tell us. And when you become that kind of a person who is known for taking action and keeping your word, you become someone who is trustworthy not only to yourself but to others as well. And people value and respect that. And that is what we as men have to get back to doing, is honoring our word and gaining and garnering the respect and admiration of not only women, but our peers as well as ourselves. The next thing we're going to look at is this. The other reason for why we often don't keep our word, even when it costs us our integrity, is this. We like to use words to make us feel good, or to make us look good. We say things sometimes just to look and feel good. We have to be really careful with that. Why? The reason why is because, again, if you have not thought through about the commitment you are about to make verbally, then you're attaching yourself and you're giving your word without even thinking about, can you really honor that? And if you can't honor it, in essence, you're lying. So you want to be mindful about giving your word out and really take time to think, before I give this person my word or before I make this commitment to myself or to someone else, am I going to keep it? Oh yeah, that's another thing we don't talk about often. Lying doesn't just include other people. Breaking your word and lying includes yourself as well. As a matter of fact, I would even go so far as to say it begins and ends with keeping your word to yourself and living in integrity, which is why a man who keeps his word and lives with integrity can continue to build and succeed and overcome any obstacle, while a man who has no integrity, does not honor his word to himself or to others, will continuously find himself floundering around from one failure to the next. I've seen it. I've even lived it. So I know that it's true. So you have to become someone who will keep your word to yourself as well. If you give yourself your word, honor that commitment to yourself, and it will build momentum, and you will create not only good self-esteem, but good positive belief and self-belief in yourself about your ability to honor your word and get things done. So it starts at home. It starts with self. The other thing I'll say is this. We have to really begin to, when we look at the solutions for why men don't keep their word and the cost of it, we have to really raise the standard. We have to raise the bar. And we have to also begin to teach young men and model to young men the value of keeping our word and the value of living in integrity. Not just to be a model fucking citizen or a poster child for perfectionism. No, it's not about that. What we are doing is, when we raise our standard, we hold ourselves accountable. Now we hold other men accountable. And as we have and hold that high standard, we live with honor. And as we live with honor and we respect ourselves and others respect us, it just sets a new bar. And you become, again, someone who is liked, trusted, and respected no matter what, even by your enemies, because they know you're someone who will keep your word no matter what, and so do you. And the consequences, or should I say the rewards of keeping and honoring your word and living in integrity are far too numerous for me to even name here. Far too numerous. You develop a strong character. You develop a strong character by keeping your word no matter what. And so when you begin to keep your word no matter what, and you honor yourself, you develop a belief and a conviction in yourself that you'll get things done no matter what. You trust yourself. You have confidence in yourself. You believe in yourself. And this is the reward of keeping your word. Other people trust you. Other people know they can count on you. As a matter of fact, opportunities will begin to come to you because people know that you are dependable. People know they can count on you to honor your commitments, to honor your word, because you are an enlightened warrior. You are someone who is a breakthrough boss, and a breakthrough boss honors his word and lives with honor and respect. So if you take nothing else away from today's Daily Recharge conversation, take this away. Honor your commitment and your word to yourself, first and foremost. And when you give your word to someone, keep your word. If you are unable to keep your word to that person, have a conversation with them and ask them if it is okay for you to decommit from that. If they give you permission, then no harm, no foul. If they say, I need you to honor it, then you must honor it. And that is the rule, or the law, should I say, of keeping your word. And if you know you're unable to keep your word, don't give it in the first place. And if you don't give it, then you don't have to worry about breaking it. That's all I got for you guys today on today's Breakthrough Boss episode of the Daily Recharge. I'm yours truly, Jovie J. Sumner, reminding you to stay focused, stay disciplined, stay dedicated, and stay hungry, because lions are always hungry for more. Sending you love, light, peace, and prosperity. God bless, guys.